We good.
We're good?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to start off by giving all praises to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bahasham,
Yahweh
Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rekal Kadash, giving double honors to the apostle, elders, great millstone, peace and blessings to those pushing his truth and sincerity, and the Bob Abor. To brother Apostle Kadash comes another lesson. I got the brother Arashah with me.
Time. Shalom.
And today I'm going in on Israelite foreigners, all right? Because everybody who's every Israelite not gonna look like a so-called dark-skinned man with an afro. He is not gonna be your typical super buff, brown hair, black eyes. It's not gonna always look like that.
Like Wesley Snipes black, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, you even got your culture, all right? Because you have people, Jake, to look at certain other Jakes, West Africans, we can use them, for example, who look down there just like us, but they might dress a little different, so they'll just automatically cast them off as, oh, well, that ain't us, but through the spirit, that is us.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead. I'm thinking of a precept, but go ahead, get yours first.
This is 1 Samuel 16:7. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth, for man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in the countenance, it go into sight, appearance, all right, what you can see. The Lord was telling Samuel about King David, but this is a good representation because the Lord was looking on his inward parts. He didn't look at King David's skin tone or what's hair texture. He was looking at who he was, first and foremost, being an Israelite.
Mm-hmm. And he was talking about Saul in this chapter, you know what I'm saying? But the point is, like he said, that the Lord look on the heart. So really it's about the spirit that's within that man, whether or not that spirit goes back to Israel or does it go back to one of the other table of nations, you know what I'm saying? One of the other 17 nations. You know, it's 18 total, including Israel, but if it's of Israel, which if I can, I'm gonna get this quick precept because this was just on my spirit, you know. Romans the 8th chapter, you know, if they're of the Israelite ilk, if you will, you know, then they're going to be in the kingdom of heaven with Yahweh Shai. All right, this is Romans 8, and I'm going to just get to the point, verse 16. It says, the Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. You see, so you got to try the Spirit by the Spirit. That's what the scriptures say. And if the Spirit, you know, measures up, how can you try the Spirit? For an example, we asked Jake how they like their food cooked. You know, that's a quick distinction between how Esau eats his meat raw. You know what I'm saying? Just paint an example, just one example amongst many, or well done. How Jake, you know, is supposed to eat it without the blood in it, man. You know, that's just one example of many. You could try different questions as such, man. You know, Jake got they're the salt of the earth. They got swag. They got salt. You know, these other people, these other nations, they're bland, man. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And so ultimately, it's about if their spirit bears witness with our spirit that we're the children of the Most High, man. You know, it's not just off those two questions I asked. There's more to it, but those are the first two that came to mind. Okay, but like you said, man, you know, it's the spirit that beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of the Most High. It says, and if children, then heirs of the Most High power, and joint heirs with Yahweh Shai Mashiach. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. And that was the main point that I wanted there. You know, you can get your, or as a matter of fact, I'll get it for you. What's the other one?
Leviticus 26 and 33.
Mm-hmm. Leviticus, you said 26?
Yep.
33. It reads, and I will scatter you among the heathen. So that right there is letting you know, and that's the spirit, because when we was doing our study off camera, prior to you getting here, actually, we was going into this briefly, you know, which, if you don't mind, can you line up Isaiah 11 and 11? All right, because like these just scriptures proving that we're scattered amongst the heathen. You see, he said, and I will scatter you among the heathen and will draw out the sword after you, and your land shall be desolate and your cities waste. So that right there is letting you know that we're scattered. I think it's Jeremiah 17 and 4. He said, even thyself shalt discontinue from thy heritage that I gave thee. You know, roughly paraphrasing, man, and we did. Jeremiah did, and even us to this very day. Okay, and we were scattered amongst the heathen. You know, I think of that one in Baruch as well. It said we are scattered for a shame and a reproach. I believe that's 3 and 8, man. You see, we are yet this day in our captivity. So it's countless scriptures proving that Israel is scattered amongst the other nations. And so what does that mean? You're going to have Israelites that look like the other nations, and vice versa. You're going to have heathens that look like us. Lately the Spirit been on brothers to go over Herod. From my understanding, he was like a chocolate covered Edomite.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And to the untrained or unlearned person, that'll throw them for a loop. They'll be like, oh, well, we all brown skinned, so we got to be the same people. Just like our people think we are, like you said, Africans. That was a good statement you made earlier. But we not, man. Again, you got to try the Spirit, okay? And, I think of John Hyrcanus,
Edit some things. I got it. But this is Isaiah chapter 11, verse 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, from Egypt, and from Pathros, and from Cush, and from Elam, and from Shinar, and from Hamath, and from the islands of the sea.
Forgive me, I really should have had you start up a bit. I should have had you start at 9. But that look like the other nations. Because what happens when you mingled amongst these other nations? Y'all they mingle, they get together. When Jake is stationed in Esau's armies and he's over in Germany and other places, and he's he ain't necessarily at war, but he's there, stationed. Hey man, Jake always taking that woman, man. And making babies with them and so on and so forth. So the point is, you're going to have Israelites that look like the other nations. Okay? And was that it on that?
I had... this one thing I wanted to bring out, one last thing. This Isaiah chapter 14 and 1. Oh, you talking about, was that it for that?
No, you good. Go ahead.
Okay. This Isaiah chapter 14 verse 1. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land, and the stranger shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. Mm-hmm. That stranger is going into Israelite foreigners, because we already know the Lord not going to be joined hand in hand with the heathen. Mm-hmm. That's going against the law. And the Lord is not a man that shall lie. Malachi 3 and 6, the Lord is the same today, forever, so that the sons of Jacob are not destroyed. So he's not going to change the setup that's already been put here. So we know this got to be the Israelite foreigners, those who didn't know they was Jake from the beginning and so forth, those who coming back to the heritage. Mm-hmm. Us, for an example, we didn't know we were Jake. Right. So we came back into this heritage. We're going to be joined back into our original state or our original culture.
Yeah, and cleaving to the house of Jacob, we heard this word from the apostles and elders, like the elder apostle, how he often quotes when the Great Awakening took place back in 2007 when they came up on YouTube, and you had a lot of Israelites waking up. A lot of these camps got situated. A lot of brothers woke up around that time period, 06, 07, 08, leading up until now, and like you said, they cleaved into them, you see? But go ahead.
That's it.
You get, that was
I can grab it in the scriptures. 14. It's Isaiah chapter 14, verse 2. And the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, who captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors.
Mm-hmm. And that's talking about the actual heathens. You see what I'm saying? He said, the people shall take them and bring them to their place, and the house of Israel shall possess them in the land of the Lord. So we're going to have, he said in Psalms, the 2nd chapter, ask of me, and I will give thee the heathen for thine inheritance, thy possession. You see? He says that we're going to possess them in the land of the Lord, so in the land of Israel, for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were. Because we captive right now. I quoted Baruch 3 and 8. We are yet this day in our captivity, scattered for reproach and a shame and a curse. You see? He said, they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. You see, and so we're going to rule over those who ruled over us, because a part of them oppressing us is not telling us our true biblical nationality. That's why the scriptures refer to him as the covering cast over the whole earth. Let me see if I can find, I believe it's Isaiah 25 or 6. Let me see if I can find that real quick. Okay. Isaiah 25, and the point is 7. It says, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, and the veil that is spread over all nations. Right? Because even like I made the statement earlier, there's only 18 nations upon the table of nations. Israel is the one that the Lord set his name upon and that he's dealing with, in particular of Israel, the elect. All right, but the other 17 nations, the Lord ain't dealing with because they're heathens, you see? And he's going to allow us to have them in the kingdom of heaven. But Esau, as well as these heathens, okay, they haven't put us to rest in regards of letting us know who we are, the children of Israel, the children of the Most High, man. You see? And so that's a part of them oppressing us too. We calling ourselves a color in two continents, you know, Africa and American, which Africa goes back to Scipio Africanus, and America goes back to Amerigo Vespucci, two Edomite men. You see, which that's not a nationality, man. And I even made the statement earlier, well, not in this lesson, but off camera, I made the statement that cause I just said that those, you know, that's not our nationality. But prior to us being referred to as so-called African Americans, they referred to us as Negroes, man. But they know that even before that we were the Hebrews, man. And I ain't just talking about African Americans only. You know, that's just the Southern Kingdom. You know, we talking about Judah, Benjamin, Levi that make up the 3 Southern Kingdom tribes, and then you got the Northern Kingdom, man. You know, from Issachar to Gad, Reuben, Naphtali, Simeon, you name it. Okay, so that's the point, man. The Lord is going to destroy this Edomite man who did these things, man. All right, that covering cast covering us up, and now you got everyone confused. Okay, but this truth is shining and is revealing who the children of the Most High truly are. Did you have some more?
No, that was it.
Okay, so we could pretty much wrap this up here. You know, it's just on our spirit to want to speak on the fact that you're going to have Israelites that look like the other nations, man. You know, and Lord willingly, this was edifying. All right, we love to give all praise, honor, and glory unto
Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahushai, Ba'asham, Rekal Kadash.
Again, double honors to the apostles, the elders of Great Millstone, rule well, much love, salutations to the Akim pushing his word in sincerity and in truth. All right, to you, we say shalom in the Bible.
The Bible Bull.